everyone, it's Naomi here from the Firecracker Department After Show. This is one of my favorite things to do. I'll say it again, because I get to bring in some of our core members and we talk about past episodes and what kind of jazzed us, what struck our heart, what stayed in our mind afterwards. So here we are. We've got AJ in Toronto, sometimes in Los Angeles, who is not only a beautiful performer, writer, creator, but she also does a lot of content for Firecracker Department and produces the After Show. We've got Emily Churchill, who is in Los Angeles and not only super duper funny and a wonderful creator of web series like Friends on a Bench, but she's also in charge of our wellness department and produces the After Show with AJ. And then we've got Veronica Martin, who's in Toronto, and Veronica is a goals coach, and she also is in charge of our mentorship department. And boy, pew, 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 look at us all together. I will take a moment just quickly to recognize that AJ, Veronica, and myself are on a territory. It's called the Anishinaabe territory. And I think it's really important to recognize that we are borrowing from these different territories, and we want to support the journey that the territories are on to find equality. And so I encourage you to find out what territory you're on by going to nativeland.ca. Ems, you're on a different territory. Where are you?
I'm in Shumash territory.
Well, there we go. There's some shout outs. If you find out what territory you're on, throw it into our chatter in the social media, and let's get conscious of what territories we are on so we can support the Native community and their journey and their journey for balance, which is, man, something that we're all on for. Speaking of balance, we are talking today about one of my favorite people / episodes, Molly McGlynn. You'll know Molly from, she had this great, well, she still does. She has this great film called Merry Go Round. If you haven't had a chance to see it, go and catch it. It's so good. She's at the CFC program in Canada. And she also was a recipient from TIFF, the Toronto International Film Festival, for the Mickey Moore residency, which she graciously accepted and then graciously donated to 2 female filmmakers in order to give them some support for their work, which I'm just like, oh, Molly, if you were you just couldn't get any cooler. She's funny, she's gorgeous, she's talented, and she's generous. We get it. You're everything. Yeah. I'd like to make out with her next time I see her. Okay. And I only say that because she's a friend, and she might be up for it.
Masks on. That's all I can say.
Oh, there it is. Mask on.
A mask on. A mask on make out. Yeah. Future dates. What about the discussion I had with Molly? What about it struck a chord for you folks? Tell me what stuck with your brains and in your hearts.
I'm going to take a break. I'm going to take a break and write. You know?
Yeah.
Writing.
So yeah, that's what she said. Yeah.
Like, yeah,
I know.
I'm going to take a couple months off and just take a break, and I'm just going to write another feature.
She's going to do it.
I know. But I don't think busy creative people can take breaks because it's part of our like DNA. Just constant, even if you're like having a holiday where you're not working, you're still like your mind's going, you're inspired. I don't think you can take breaks. Ems, you're nodding. What do you think?
No, it's true. I took yesterday or Thursday or Wednesday. What day is it? I can't even tell you. But I laid down because I was getting a migraine, and I was like, I'm not gonna do anything. I'm gonna try to just. And it was so hard. Like I'm like, but no, I gotta do this, that, and the other. So it's really hard to take a break and just write, or take a break and just be creative and enjoy that instead of thinking I have to do so many other things. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes the break for me is just doing some different kind of art. So it's not like computer centric. Hey, does that make sense to you, Veronica?
Yeah, it's difference between having to do something and wanting to do something else. So absolutely different kind of writing entirely. She's, maybe working on a script or something like that. Well, that's work. So maybe she's writing the Great Canadian Novel, which is just pure joy and not work.
The thing I love about Molly, and I got to work with her, albeit quite briefly, on a CFC job a couple of years ago, is she makes me think of like a constant hum. And I don't know how else to describe it, but there's just sort of like, she's very consistent. She doesn't, like, you can hear her, but she's not too loud. And And like, that's what I was thinking on the podcast, was like, she just has a sort of like level way of speaking, level way of approaching stuff. And I feel like if she hears that, she would say the opposite, right? Because she describes herself, as many of us artists do, which is like, you know, a whirlwind of chaos and nothing is consistent. But in both the way she
I never see that in her.
No, she's so level, right? And you hear it in the way she talks, and in the way she communicates the depth she has from her childhood and from her life experiences.
Yeah. And I have to say, I bumped into her, or like we had some time in Los Angeles before everything in the world blew up. And she just finished working on Bless This Mess. She directed a bunch of that, and she also directed a bunch of Grownish. And she was like, she's just like, pew, pew, she's firing on all cylinders, but she's still able to like have these discussions of trueness and of authenticity that I'm just like, I'm such a fan of hers. Veronica, were you going to say something?
Well, it sounded like when she was talking about the way she is on the set, it sounds like she gives an awful lot to the actors and, you know, does kind of not fade back, but she's not micromanaging the, you know, the blocking and that sort of thing. Like, you know, I noticed she said that, you know, she, you know, once she looks at everything, she doesn't look at it all day. She just, you know, works with what the actors are bringing.
Well, there's an incredible confidence that comes with being able to do that in yourself and your ability to direct on the fly. It's like improv, right? Like you have to know that you're grounded enough to be able to work within what other people want, because there are a lot of directors that cannot do that need their shot list, that need to know what you're shooting. I mean, the AD in me is like, oh God, no, stick to the shot list.
Yeah.
But
yeah, she's an actor's director for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What else, Emily? What else struck your heart?
You know, it's interesting because I didn't think about this until just now, but I listened to a podcast yesterday and Kamala Harris was being interviewed. And she mentioned that she was always raised to open the door wider than when she got there. And I'm just getting chills. Hearing that she had given away the award money to other people really hits hard on my heart, because I think that's amazing. I feel like we all should do that. And if we're not, we should see how we can do that, because I think it's very important for us to move forward.
It's an incredible like show of her leadership, right? Like I know one thing, especially in Canada, that we do struggle with is we are a grant-based country. A lot of our filmmakers rely on 5 to 30,000 that they might get from the government. And in a lot of cases, the people that can't access them are people like Molly, who do have a lot of work coming in, who are proven in the widescape that they are talented. And so for her to sort of show the leadership of like, I'm a working director, let me elevate someone else, is huge. And I only hope it sort of sets an example for a lot of other people as well.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it, $3,000 probably won't like make a huge difference to her world, but would make a difference. Like a $1,500 could make a difference to somebody else in their budget and actually help them create the thing they want to create.
Or just to
it makes so much sense
something.
to me. Yeah, just paying rent, something just to support it. I mean, next time I get a huge grant, this universe, I'm gonna make sure it's divvied up.
It's wonderful. It's going on the internet.
Yeah.
We all heard it here.
Yeah. You heard it here. Yeah, the universe really taps into the internet all the time. Veronica, anything else for you?
The conversation around failure I thought was really interesting. Talking about, you know, she's just so honest about things that she considers to be a failure, whereas, you know, other people might say, you know, that's maybe not a failure, but you know, just looking at it from a number of different angles and just plowing back in, I thought was really great, really inspirational.
I don't know if I believe in failures.
Yeah.
You know, like it maybe felt like a failure in the moment it happens, but the second moment you can probably look back and be like, oh yeah, that taught me the thing that led me to this, which is a success. So I don't know, failure is more like I
think they're lessons, right? Like that's but that's the struggle. Like no one, when you were kids, you're not taught to fail. There is no like lesson on like how to fail. No one. Sarah Blakely, the woman who created Spanx, was interviewed once, and she said that one habit she has with all of her kids, of which I think she has 100 now, is at the end of, if not every day, every week, they ask everybody to name what they failed at that week, and they make it something worth talking about and something to acknowledge. Failing is a part of growth, and failing is a part of life. So if you don't
I love that.
then I love that.
You're taking the shame of it, right?
Okay. All right. So what are your failures? But I just don't think I've I've gone through a divorce, and some people might think that was a failure, but I think that was like part of my journey.
But that's where you're at right now, right? But like, look at this week. Like, if I think about today, like, what did I fail at today? You know, I haven't successfully, I have failed at teaching my dog to go outside to pee. That's a thing that's real today.
Right.
Am I learning every day?
I get it.
Yes.
I get it.
Like, I don't think failures happen.
The dog learning every day.
The dog is learning every day how to pee in the house and not get caught. I think
What about you, Ems? Veronica, what are your failures? Sorry, AJ, did you have more?
No. I mean, I could list my failures, but I don't know.
I don't know. Like I burnt food on the stove. That's a failure. But at the same, I mean, I would say that was a lesson, but I learned that lesson a lot.
Sometimes you can do it again.
Learn.
Sure. Yeah.
Different way.
Yeah. Ems, what about you? What do you think of when you think of your failure?
There's so many that flood my mind at the moment. But I would say the one that we did last night was we forgot to take the turkey out of the freezer, and then we put it in the skillet, and it just didn't smell right. You know, that's a failure, because you're like, I'm not gonna eat that. Yeah. So I'd say, but we learned, hey, take it out before you're gonna eat it. Yeah. You learn from it. Yeah.
All right. Veronica?
Yeah, there was some writing that I wanted to finish today, and I did not finish that writing today. So I did dive deep into something I wasn't expecting, like within that writing. I thought, okay, I'm just gonna gloss, get it all done. But I ended up, sort of going on a deep dive, and I thought of it as it felt like when I go in, to clean my room, like when I was a kid, and I'd end up just reading books, instead of cleaning everything.
Oh, you were that kid, right?
I was that kid, yeah.
Your parents must have been so mad at you. Wait, read.
Yeah, what are you doing? Reading? How dare you?
Yeah, my mom actually was mad at me because cleaning the room was what I was supposed to be doing. Yeah. But no, I go off into fairyland. But anyway,
you should have been doing heroin, then she'd be sorry.
Yeah.
You right? No kidding. If you'd seen my room when I was that age, when she redid it, it was like 1972. There was like orange and white and yellow wallpaper and orange and yellow shag carpet. So yeah, I could have very well been doing heroin in there if I hadn't been tapped.
Oh my goodness.
But I do think even hearing your failures,
tapestry.
If we talk about our failures more, then we're not all assuming that everybody's perfect.
Exactly.
Like social media puts this thing out there that everybody's perfect, and it's so ridiculous. So I challenge everybody who's watching this to tweet #firecrackerfailure and give us some failures.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
That's great. I like that.
You give me a failure, I'll tell you of my failures. I have them daily. What else about Molly? Any final thoughts?
She's just so lovely.
Mm-hmm.
I know, not deep, but not a deep thought. But
no, she's the best.
She's
the coolest. I just want to be around her so that maybe some of the cool will rub off on me.
Oh yeah. Me too.
And when she was talking about Deepa Mehta, and she said, like, just get out of the kitchen, go do something, don't complain about it. I thought
she kicked her out.
It's that easy. Yeah, it's that easy.
Kicked her out. Yeah,
I love it.
I mean, Molly is just she's unassuming, and yet there's so much to watch. And so she's one of those talents I'm excited to continue to see what she does next. It's going to be something worth seeing,
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything from you, Ems? Final?
Oh, I wrote down, fuck them or screw them.
Yes.
So my notes are, but yes, right? Like if you're not getting what it's helping you on your journey, screw them. Get on over to your journey. Yeah.
I love it. It's like Tammy Riker said in one of the past interviews, just, I'm going to go around you.
Yes.
Which I just love as a, like, that's a t-shirt waiting to be made for sure.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of, fucking go around,
T-shirts.
T-shirts, speaking of t-shirts, hey, what t-shirts are you wearing when you're doing your, well, this is the worst segue I've ever done. I don't mind. Yeah. What's your next thing that you're going to wear a t-shirt at? I just jumped into that.
I do. I have that.
Emily, you tell me.
I just made, my husband and I made t-shirts for my book club, and we did the art for it, and it's like, oh babe, it's book club. That's the saying on it.
I think this is the only time a segue has been both ridiculous and
it works.
Perfect.
Nailed it.
I may need one of those. I'm going to go to my room and clean it and read.
I love it. I love it. You have to post those, Emily. I want to see the design that you've come up with.
Okay, I will.
And don't forget to check in with Ems. Let's heal this shit.com. She's doing meditations every month. She does meditation with Firecracker department, the wellness department. So check in with her because they are magical. How about you, Veronica? What are you wearing a t-shirt at these days?
Well, I'm wearing a t-shirt right now. I'm going to be doing some painting this weekend. So definitely a t-shirt, not this one. And not my Firecracker t-shirt like
AJ. Yeah.
Her gorgeous Firecracker t-shirt. What about you?
And I can't wait to see what's building with the mentorship department. So exciting. And what about you, AJ? What are your t-shirt activities?
What are my t-shirt activities? Well, it is 15 degrees Celsius in Ontario again, so we're back in t-shirt weather. Well, I'll be wearing more t-shirts. What am I doing? Not a lot, guys. Ladies, I'm just chilling. Training a dog.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. Switching t-shirts out a lot because he gets muddy feet, and I've got shirts with new prints on them. There you go.
Ooh.
Sometimes that's enough. Like, we always do these like little check-ins with what people are working on. And I definitely think it's an opportunity to like hear from the core members, because I think it's important to elevate and shine light on what you're working on. But also, if you're just training a dog, or if you're like, I don't know, I cleaned the bathroom. That was my job today, and I did it.
Good job, girl.
So be it.
Yeah. And your t-shirt looks great.
But I am excited about the partnership with Firecracker Department and Real Women's Network coming up. That's my jam these days. So if you haven't checked out Real Women's Network, we're doing podcast interviews with all the female filmmakers that they have on their platform. And you can go to their platform, and it's like having like a mini festival just in your office, living room, wherever your laptop is. So go on and check it out. Thanks, everybody. And make sure you check out Molly McGlynn and follow her and see what she's doing, and recognize those Firecracker failures. Let's see what you got. I can't wait to see some of these.
I love it.
Please bring them on. Thanks for tuning into the after show, everybody. Don't forget to go over to firecrackerdepartment.com to subscribe and do all the things firecrackery. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.